Welcome back to Castle Conservative Media. Thank you guys for joining me again today. I hope you had a great week. Enjoy your weekend, have fun, spend time with family, spend time with friends, and be safe. So, I'm going to start with this quote. The white man's happiness cannot be purchased with the black man's misery. Now, Frederick Douglass said that. You probably know where I'm going with this, but this is about white privilege. We talk about this subject now all the time in the media. You see it on CNN, you see it on ABC, you see it on NBC. This idea that whites have a certain, aura that puts them in a privileged situation. And I can't say that that is enough to stop me as a black man from progressing, but I don't believe the racism behind it that is being pushed. And this is not to say that, as a black man, I don't have to work a little bit harder than the average person. I don't think it's necessarily because I'm black. I think it's or unprivileged. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I have no political power. I have no wealth power. I'm literally starting from the bottom. I was born into poverty. I was born into, a household where, my mom didn't work a regular job. She just collected welfare, and we lived in government housing. But I started from that very bottom, and I had to work my way up. Do you think Jay-Z has to deal with the white privilege issue, or Puff Daddy, or any of these multi-millionaires, or even billionaires, Oprah Winfrey? They don't have to deal with this issue of white privilege because they built their legacy up to a certain level. And those are just entertainers. There are actually a lot of millionaire minorities who happen to be black and other races who have made their mark in society without using race as an issue. Now, what my point is that the white privilege narrative that's going on these days is complete nonsense. And here's why. You live in the greatest country in the world. Throughout history, people have made things happen. Let's just talk Frederick Douglass for a second. The guy fought his way out of slavery, literally. Slave master beat him till he almost died. He told himself, he knew how to read already. He said, I will never let this happen to me again. Slave master went to beat him again one day. He beat his slave master down till the slave master just let him leave the plantation. He leaves the plantation, gets a job, had to deal with discrimination there. Then he went on to become an entrepreneur, a lecturer, a speaker, an advocate for civil rights and also women's rights. Not only that, his wife passed away I don't remember what age, but then he married a white woman. So this was in the 1800s. Imagine, he was married to a white woman and he didn't get lynched. He actually died in his 80s. But still, people have this idea that they built up in their head that because you're white, when you automatically walk into a restaurant, you're treated a certain way. When you automatically walk into a retail store, you're treated a certain way. I'll say this, and I'll kind of throw a twist on that. That is bull. It all depends on how you carry yourself. Me, even though I come from the inner city, I carry myself a certain way. When I go to a store, when I go to a restaurant, I never put on a persona that, I'm from the streets, right? Now, if I walk up in a restaurant or a store and I have my hat tilted, my pants sagging, kind of, hey, what's up? I'm saying, hey, give me my shit. Hey, give me my table. Hey, you got these clothes over here. Like, not to say that that person is not going to spend money, but they don't like that stereotype because the media, entertainment business, Hollywood, they've all put that stereotype out there that when you see these black people, these are the troublemakers. And that's not even true. But that's the persona that a lot of black people get. But for us who have happened to work really hard and become somewhat successful in life, we don't deal with the white privilege narrative. I live my life every day trying to be the best that I can. I don't think about any race, whites, blacks, none of that. I worry about my life, my family that I'm going to be creating soon, and my success that I want to have through what I'm doing here on this platform. So white privilege really has nothing to do with that. If Booker T. Washington could start the Tuskegee Institute in the segregated South when the Klan were lynching black people, right? That was coon hunting. For all those out there who like to call black people coons, remember where that word comes from. When they went coon hunting to lynch black people, he started the Tuskegee Institute. And you're still blaming white privilege to this day. Our grandparents didn't even live in an era like we have right now. where you can go on social media. You have your freedom of speech. For the most part, you do, especially if you're from the left, which is where most minorities are from. But you have your freedom of speech. You have the chance to go to any school you want to. You have the chance to drive any car you want to, right? You can become a police officer and a firefighter now. Most police agencies, fire departments are more diverse than ever before in history. You have more black millionaires than you ever had in society. You have more millionaire immigrants than you do in society. So you're talking about white privilege when the real issue is just you as an individual. You're twisted in your thinking, and you've been repeating things so much that you've convinced yourself to believe it. There's no such thing as white privilege. And that term started from the commies on the far left who were pushing American privilege as a problem. Now you see, I have an American flag behind me. They'll probably be trying to ban that next. They banned the Confederate flags, claiming that it was a flag that belongs in a museum, when the Confederate flag was a part of American history. Whether you agree with it or not, I'm not a big fan of the Confederate flag like that, but if someone had a Confederate flag in front of me, I wouldn't say, hey, take that down. That's offensive to me, right? But what's happened in society is they said American privilege is bad. So now you look at all these articles that we read every day, or news headlines, they make Americanism a bad thing. This is where we are headed if we don't stop this rhetoric. There's no such thing, in my opinion, as white privilege being something that stops you from being the person that you want to become. I guarantee you this, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, when I have hit my goal with what I'm doing, let's see if I blame white people for me succeeding or for me failing. Thank you guys very much for joining me today. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.